Somebody's smoking good. Oh, who won it? It's beautiful. Beautiful.
We're wasting Russian resources. And as we waste and deplete Russian resources, we only have to compete against one other country in the world, China. Inflation is rampant, recession is pending.
Do you honestly believe that our government officials, president included, want what's best for the United States?
If you only look at it in terms of Ukraine and Russia, we end up missing the bigger picture. Because the real conflict here is a conflict between which direction the United States wants to drive the world as a potential superpower, right? If we go down, the Biden administration and the media all try to tell us that we have to protect Ukraine, that the United States' protection of Ukraine serves this larger purpose in protecting democracy and secures the long-term future of pro-democratic countries. That's all a party line. That's baloney. What the real reason the United States is involved in Ukraine is because as long as we keep a proxy war happening in a third world country like Ukraine, as long as we have that proxy war coming, we're wasting Russian resources. And as we waste and deplete Russian resources, we only have to compete against one other country in the world, China. If the war in Ukraine ends, Russia starts to rebuild in concert with China, and now we have two enemies without either of them depleting themselves, right? So that's one big reason why the United States likes war in Ukraine. Another reason why the United States likes war in Ukraine is because as long as we are creating weapons and sending weapons to Ukraine, we're practicing for a future global conflict that we might have to carry out against China.
Mm-hmm.
It's no small feat to send tanks 7,000 miles across an ocean. It's no small feat to create ammunition loaded into C-17s and then fly them as a fleet by fleet into Poland and then carry out the logistical challenges of delivering that material to the front lines. We're practicing war.
I mean,
without fighting it.
I feel like we would have that down pretty good now after 20 years of war all over the Middle East.
The difference is we had our own bases in the Middle East. If we go to war, who's the most likely person we're going to go to war with?
China.
China is 15,000 miles away. 15,000 miles away. Afghanistan is half that distance.
Mm-hmm.
And we have bases in Afghanistan. We don't have any bases in China. The nearest that we would be able to get is actually the Philippines, where we would have to have a presidential allowance by the Filipino president to use their bases, right? And that's happening right now. So we would have to borrow and coordinate diplomatically with a host nation to be able to deliver our weapons to that country, which is exactly what we're doing in Poland right now, right? They're not our bases. We're working with the Poles. So it's a different kind of beast. 7,000 miles is very different from 15,000 miles. You're talking about multiple aerial refuelings. You're talking about months on if you're delivering something by sea. You're talking about multiple stops if you're delivering something by air, right?
I mean, it would just be a quick stop in Ramstein, Germany.
We would like to think of it. So a quick stop in Ramstein, Germany for 25 aircraft to then deliver weapons into a hostile zone and into a non-American controlled base, right?
Exactly.
It's very different than what we had in the Middle East.
All right.
Right? And who were we combating in the Middle East? terrorists, not organized nation states and national armies.
Okay.
Now all of a sudden, you send a C-17 into Afghanistan and you have to worry about small arms fire, and you have to worry about whether or not they got their hands on some kind of shoulder-mounted anti-aircraft. Delivering something to Taiwan or the Philippines, you got to get near China. You got to go near China's allies, and you have ships at sea that have anti-aircraft weapons. You have laser-guided munitions. You have hypersonic missiles. It's a very different risk element.
Mm-hmm. That's a damn good point.
Yeah. So then the last kind of big reason is we can't consider what's happening in Europe separate from what's happening in the United States. So when there's war in general, dating back to World War II, we've always known war is really good for the economy. The Biden administration, whether you're pro-Biden or anti-Biden, the empirical evidence shows that our COVID response under President Biden destroyed the US economy. And most of the first world followed America's lead with our COVID response and destroyed their economies too, which is why you see massive economic collapse all across Europe, all throughout Asia, and all the countries that followed our lead, right? We overreacted to something we didn't understand. And now as a result, inflation is rampant, recession is pending. So our government, it's really important to our administration that we never formally announce a recession. We're in a recession. You feel it, I feel it, everybody watching us feels it, we know it. Our dollar doesn't go as far. It's hard to get people to go to work. Like, life is hard. We are in an economic recession. It's not like it was in 2010. But according to economics, as outlined by national institutes, we are not yet in a recession, because their definition of recession requires 2 consecutive quarters of negative GDP growth. We're not going to have negative GDP growth. Why? Because we're funding a war in Ukraine, right? If you look at the top 5 military contractors out there right now, if you pull it up on your computer anytime, look at Lockheed Martin, look at Raytheon, look at Boeing. There's a big company that very few people know about called Leidos. I'm sure you've known Leidos. Just look at their stock dating back to June of last year. June of last year, when the stock market started to tank, these companies tanked along with it. And then February came along. February, the invasion started. The United States started offering military aid to Ukraine, and the stock price of those companies started going up because government spending started going into this Ukraine effort. That means the federal government started boosting military efforts. They started boosting humanitarian efforts, medical efforts, all of that government spending in an existing industry, the military industrial industry, actually inflated the GDP numbers for those productive segments of the society, of the sector, those industrial segments, right? So now the United States is still suffering from a massive drop in GDP. I think our GDP last quarter was 2.8%, right? Down from like 5%. But it's being boosted because we're funding this war in Ukraine. If we gave up on the war in Ukraine, that productivity of those sectors would go down, and we would actually have to announce a recession.
Okay.
So the Biden administration is artificially protecting us from recession by selectively funding certain segments of our industrial base that are tied to this conflict in Europe.
I mean, when it comes to not announcing a recession, does this actually benefit anybody but Raytheon, Boeing, the military
That's my little bro. No
companies?
You can't trade that. No, that will hurt you. Okay?
Is this just a mask? Do you know what I mean?
I do, yeah.
So is this like, hey, just do this, then we won't have to call it a recession because you just said, I feel it, you feel it, everybody feels it,
Yes,
So,
good boy.
yeah, maybe we're funding these 5 companies, but what about everybody else?
It's not just those companies that are reaping the benefits, right? Remember, the military industrial base is certainly benefiting from a war in Europe, but so is the medical base, right? Band-Aid and gauze manufacturers, alcohol manufacturers.
This is the Sean Ryan show. It's ex-Navy SEAL. I don't want to get into what his identity is. It doesn't matter to me. So you can look into him if you want to know who he is and what he is. And he interviews a lot of individuals. And this interview right here is with Andrew Bustamante. It's aired about 52 minutes ago. And he's a CIA spy. Andrew Bustamante. That's the name he goes by. He looks like one of them Negro Jews, Ashkenazis. So I could probably look like him if I was to do certain things or been reared or raised or nurtured in a certain way. And what he's doing, he's talking about the hidden secrets behind the Russian-Ukraine war, which I am about tired. But he's laying down another story. You dig what I'm saying? Another story that could be playing out. And that's why I'm just playing this. And we're going to read a little bit, but I just want y'all to hear this. Because I know a lot of y'all not going to listen to this. You're going to listen to WNBC and then, you know, the people that keep you farther away from any truth or reality or a possibility.
Manufacturers, all the body armor that goes into it, right? Think about all the steel, all the powder, all the charcoal that goes into creating the munitions and the weapons. Like there's lots of secondary and tertiary sectors that benefit from the same conflict. But the place where you can most clearly see the benefit is with your military industrial complex.
Okay.
Now, your question, is there actually a benefit to anyone or is it just a mask? Again, putting on that CIA transparency, truthfulness hat, the answer is both. It is absolutely a mask. America's intentions have very little to do with protecting Ukraine. And we'll talk about that in just a second, right? But that's the mask part. We want the world to think, and of course the Biden administration wants Americans to think, that the most important reason that we're involved is we're protecting democracy. That's not the most important reason. There is a mask element. But then there is an element where we really do benefit. When America prevents itself from announcing a recession, it means that consumers like you and I always have uncertainty, right? Uncertainty is not ideal, but uncertainty is much better than certainty that we are having a recession. As soon as the government announces a recession, people stop buying, people stop spending, the economy really does react, right? Because it's no longer speculation, it's confirmed fact. When GDP shrinks, now all of a sudden they're going to have to deal with actual Americans not going out anymore. Americans not being uncertain, but actually being afraid. So they want to prevent that from happening. And they can prevent that from happening by never allowing us to enter into recessionary status. Even though you and I feel it, the truth is that according to like the economic laws that we follow as a country, we're not yet in a recession. There's 5 indicators. We've hit 4 of the indicators, but we haven't hit the 5th indicator yet. We haven't had that negative GDP growth for 2 consecutive quarters. So there is a benefit that we're all feeling, if only because uncertainty is better than certainty of recession. Now let's talk about the mask, right? America and the Biden administration, like the Trump administration before it, and the Obama administration before that, and the Bush administration before that, if you've been tracking the 4 administrations closely, what you see among all 4 is a very steady, consistent effort to secure American primacy in the long run, to keep America as the world's largest economic superpower. They've all wanted that. They've all executed it in different ways. And of course, when they're up at the pulpit, they're all saying something differently, right? But the truth is they all want to make America strong. They all want to make America wealthy because they understand that a wealthy America is the world's largest superpower. What has gotten in the way is that with those 4 presidents especially, they've driven a strong polarity divide. They haven't talked about unity. They've talked about doubling down on their own party. Biden and Obama are super strong about this. Like they talk about reaching across the aisle, but they force their own policies through, right? That was something that really started with Obama and we've never turned back. Obama passed executive orders. Obama was very staunchly in favor of abusing when the Democrats had both the House and the Senate under their control and forcing through the Universal Health Care Act, right? So that set a precedent that then every president since then has just followed. So because of that driving of polar political ideas, we've had this situation where nobody works together. If we were all working together, if the House and the Senate were working together in conjunction with the president, all working towards American superiority, we wouldn't be in the mess that we're in right now. But instead, they're bickering about woke culture. They're bickering about, whether or not pharmacies make too much money and whether or not, fracking should be legal in East Coast states. They're bickering about baloney. And all of that is just wasting time and wasting effort that could be put into securing a long-term American future.
I mean, do you honestly believe that our government officials, president included, want what's best for the United States?
I believe, honestly, that our officials want what's best for preserving the United States government. That's what I believe. I do not believe that the senators and congresspeople that we vote for, maybe in their first or second term, they care about their constituents, but once they become career politicians, they care about their career. They don't care about us anymore. The president doesn't care about the people. The president cares about preserving the American government.
Hey everybody, I'm Sean.
At least the little CIA fuck didn't lie there. Not to be disrespectful, but I just don't like the game because there's nothing good that comes from them. Nothing. Nothing at all. I don't give a fuck what anybody say. Especially some half-breed motherfucker I really don't care about. But it is what it is. You dig what I'm saying? And what can we do about it, right? I just want to know, what can we do about it? God damn it, Red. No. There we go. Good shit. Anyway, let me go ahead and start reading. I just want to get some good background music. It's kind of a nice day. It's a little cool. It's nice. Hope it's nice on y'all end. I have a hard time dealing with a lot of things, but I've watched certain individuals, military veterans. I'll listen to them as far as questioning things. Now, when it comes to people like Dan Crenshaw, the Navy SEAL in Arizona, nah, man, he's career and no, man. Look, when they say secret societies, orders are everywhere, you need to know they're everywhere. All right, if they got 100 men, they say I need 50 y'all to get in special forces. I don't care if it's Green Beret ODA, if it's Delta, I don't care if it's Rangers, become a leader. I don't care if it's Navy SEALs, which would be officers. We're going to look for quality individuals, and they're going to train these individuals in places that you're not going to see. We need some PJs. We need some pararescue guys, Air Force, PJ jumpers. All right, we need some guys who can go and be excellent squick boat operators. And train them different from how they train them, even though they train with them alone. That's what y'all don't get. So when we see a face based on movies in Hollywood and and everything that's going on, Navy SEAL so and so, the 13, blah blah, and we look at all these things and that's conditioning, projected programming and conditioning. So when we see certain individuals in the positions, and then we start seeing the people come along who are playing these games, like most everything you see as far as award shows. A lot of it's programming. A lot of it is not real. A lot of certain individuals, their things grabbed and edited in, and sometimes people behind the editing are tired of what they're doing, and they'll leave a little slip up for somebody to see. I keep telling y'all are in vaudeville, but you're part of the main fucking act. Okay? And people have a hard time dealing with that. Some people have this issue. You think you know everything. I'm surprised at one individual that said that to me, and I'm like, no, I don't, but I know more than you, and I'm gonna learn a whole lot more. See, that's how you shut people up, or you make them cower down in their little corner and be fucking quiet. Because see, it should never go that level with our people. So many of you don't really know shit, and I'm tired of seeing it every goddamn day. And me, I always tell you, my knowledge is lint, like a little lint in my pocket, a little piece of lint in my pocket. And some people say, you just being modest. The fuck I gotta be modest for? Who the fuck are you that I need to be modest with you? See, this is what I'm talking about. we have embarked on this incursion of a language, and nobody has respect of self to even pay attention to what the fuck they're saying and how to utilize words. And then they think that the other person is supposed to just accept it because you've been accepting so much shit all your fucking life and been a part in the diagram of your shit. So I listen to that. I don't see the two characters. I see a CIA operator and an ex-Navy SEAL who's always going to be a SEAL for his life. One is very entertaining, and I like how he's moving. I know what he's been through, quasi somewhat. Traumatical. The fact that his wife is still with him, that he's created a corporate LLC, and he's moving ahead with it. And he has some of the greatest podcasts that I've ever seen. To have this CIA, this individual I've seen speak numerous other times, and to know that they're trained to lie. And I don't want to know what he did in the world. I don't care. You see what I'm saying? But I know that listening to that and knowing what I know, that he was being not just utterly careful and careless at the same time, because I know what the fuck which way he was leaning and what he was saying. And that anybody who uses the word democracy, this is not a fucking democracy. See, that's why I have a hard time with these teachers and everybody else who've colluded with this curriculum of education system and all this other bullshit to make people all of a sudden believe that this is based upon a fucking democracy. Where? When? This is a republic for the people, by the people, of the people, for the people, by the fucking people. When did you motherfuckers start being? This is what I'm talking about, especially you Negroes. You just accept anything, but you pale skin motherfuckers. I'm seeing some of you conservative son bitches run around. Yeah, it's democracy is a republic. Y'all sound so fucking gacked with all the lies. This is not a fucking democracy. Washington don't control shit. It's a foreign fucking. They bought a piece of land based upon Britain by way of the fucking Pope, the Vatican, that piece of shit Tartarian building that ain't got nothing to do with religion. And you stupid motherfuckers, because you've been nurtured in your lie, because your great crap pappy and mammy was probably raised up in a fucking week from a fucking fetus. I'm so tired of you non-knowing anything, but then they lay out a whole storyline. Mechanized city. What the fuck is so hard to understand? But y'all want to believe in UFOs, the earth is round in space, and we're traveling through earth, and blah, 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 blah. I was abducted and all this other goofy shit that I see y'all every day spew. Then I see the Negroes, the ones who need to be in a different position, to be the highly enlightened, going on this maturing chemical lobotomies, going on a deeper depth of self perversion instead of preservation. Now, it's not all of them, because we got brothers like Jah Brickz. There's a whole lot of young brothers out there in their 20s who you would wonder where did the fucking light come from, because it's just the way it was meant to be. So while everybody's in their delusion, it seems like I'm beating up on the negativity. You dumb pale skins. I'm grateful. I always say I'm grateful for the ones who know, and there's millions of them telling the truth. What's wrong with the rest of you dumb motherfuckers? And then all these goofy Negroes, these niggas running around creating their own fucking problems, these little young motherfuckers. And then some of you fake ass YouTube content creating so-called indigenous motherfuckers. You will never say shit that I talk about. Anytime I talk about something, it'll be totally different. I can create 1,000 videos a day, but I know what's going on too. Because I have people come and they send me messages. So tell me how weak you are. The funniest thing, though, is with all this shit, distractions out the wing, he said a key thing. Did y'all hear it? About the military complex, the industrial. Industrial, do you know what that means? Military complex. Do you know what that's stating? But who is in control of it is what you're fucking missing. So do you know what that means? They're the ones behind it all. Warmongers. They can't seem to shake it. And why? Why is it so intrusive? But more so, why do our people stay connected to some bullshit? And why do you motherfuckers think you're going to win by keeping people divided and hidden? And this to you two staff. Keep fucking up. I got shit ready for y'all. A little bit of here, a little bit there. And then you fucking watch. I'll make it so they can't hire enough of you fast enough. Keep fucking around. Now that's to them. Now back to the rest of you. Yeah, and some people know that I don't have to say it. The rest of you, what is the problem? What in the entire fuck, other than not paying attention to yourself, putting yourself in positions? Do you know that when you with somebody, you share energy? You know the worst part of it, when your energy is so dark that the good light you feel, you'll dismiss and ignore it because you can't let go. You gotta embrace that dark energy you have, but you think it's a mask you can hide from it. Sometimes the good energy is taken back so that you can't feel it. See, that's what these motherfuckers never talk about. You have the ability to share energy through the Kundalini, the lower chakra, and you pick that energy right the fuck back. See, this is what people don't know. I was eating because I was hungry. Very hungry. Anyway, let's go ahead and get into our reading. Hey, what's up, Rondo? What's cracking? Equator 7, Benjamin MC. What's going on, beloveds? So we're going to read George Jones' An Original History of Ancient America. Book's very, very, very interesting. I hope we don't get back into more of that retarded word spray this motherfucker was doing, because he was hitting me hard. You dig what I'm saying? We're going to get through the reading, and I want to say something else, but I'm only going to read a chapter in each one of these, okay? Now, remember, this is all about classic, okay? And this individual, George Jones, from overseas, but he writes about us. And so where we was at, yesterday we got off at the city of Mexico to be comparatively modern day at the time of the Spanish conquest. It was modern city there. It wasn't just those big pyramids. This is what people have a hard time doing. When I was down there, I was like, what the fuck used to be here? And I could see you can see cannonball marks and stuff like that, where things blew up. And you can see the big ass, like, what was this? And they have the capital in Mexico. They have a few of them down there in Peru and Colombia. Y'all ever pay attention to those capitals in Cuba and everything? And the one in Cuba was bigger than the one I was here. Y'all never pay attention to the one in England and Italy? That's all. They kept that, but that's a remembrance of Tartaria. It amazes me that people just think the Bible, because these fake 13th motherfuckers who created all the lies. Got everybody looking at these goofy ass movies, and they got these Mayans on top of this thing cutting a heart out, motherfucker. And it's all fake. All right, it's all bullshit, all told in reverse and upside down. But yet, that's what everybody runs with. So when people go to them places, they go with that on their mind. So they're not just susceptible to the pre-programming. They've accepted the narrative given. So when they go with those eyes. They don't go with the eyes of truth. Nor they search themselves, because haven't been told. Search yourself and see beyond what you see physically and visually. Because you got a whole bunch of them people running around down there, don't mean a goddamn thing. It's like taking everybody out of motherfucking out of South Korea and putting all the Negroes there, and have one South Korean still stand there and say, this is still South Korea, this causes a bunch of niggas here, and you the only motherfucking new age identity South Korean person still on your so-called soil. I always say, if you got a handful of salt and a little piece of pepper in it, is the pepper surrounded by the salt, or is the salt being occupied by the piece of black pepper? I know it's hard to comprehend that, but see, I need y'all to start thinking different. People don't know how to think different, and when you expect them to, or you express that they should for the benefit of themselves, the ones who are very hostile because they have no self-love and they have a little self-appreciation, they come around, they're always going to lash out without knowing why. That's why I read. That's why I tell you who I am beforehand. And if you don't pay attention because you're moving on your own goddamn broken ass gears, then you're going to get a broken ass response when you open that broken ass door with that broken ass window that slams back in your fucking face. Yeah, anyway, the ruins necessary to be described for the illustration of our present subject will be those of Copan, Palenque, and Uxmal, to which we already covered all of this, because we got into the cardboard made out of outline, the drawings with the camera lucidia, and divided his paper into sections as to preserve the utmost accuracy of proportion. So anyway, let's go ahead. Every plate was given to the Mr. C. Made corrections. We already went all that. So here we are over here. We was at the actual. Okay. I was going to just refresh all that. Fuck all that. So anyway, from the heart envied him his feelings. And that was based upon Although we are not selfish enough to covet his reputation, yet we are candid enough to admit that we have, from the heart, envied his feelings. Who are we talking about? We're talking about a tomb. We're talking about the one that they robbed. Remember when we was going over that? When it talks about the statue of Isis? Okay. The thing is, the country. They're always going to tell a fib, but you'll believe the fib, even though it's mostly to induce another truth away from the lie, to hide the truth that is never spoken, even those particular parts there. He has given indeed by his pen, and the artist by his pencil, a reflection of the ruins, but it is from a mirror of polished ebony, simply a face simile resemblance, similarity, light and shade only, a specimen of the, that's a weird word, the daguerreotype, something like that. I never seen that word. No one can mistake the rapid manner in which the true copy is impressed upon the mind, and that by the most easy and agreeable means. The fascination of his style, but the coloring of life is not there. The soul of history is wanting. Again, what was that? He has given indeed by his pen, and the artist by his pencil, a reflection of the ruins, but it is from a mirror of polished ebony, simply a facsimile resemblance, okay, and shade only. So it's not the exact, but it's an excellent rendition, okay. That other word, the daguerreotype, I never heard that word before. I've literally read, dictionaries from front to back and all that crap. Anyway, maybe it doesn't even sound familiar. But the coloring of life is not there. The soul of history is wanting. So in these people in there, and these life visual, other than the architectural, that's what it's asking or stating. The Promethean spark by which the flame of historic truth should illuminate his work and be viewed as a gleaming beacon from afar to direct wanderers through the dark night of wonders, has found no spot to rest upon and to vivify visually. This is all that poetic talking points and shit. But this he has done. He has brought the timbers of the historic bark to view. Research must build, and science place the rudder, and the pilot constant as the northern star. Enthusiasm must drive her before the wind. Every sail set fore and aft, aloft, abroad, and full, and it will be strange indeed if that spark will not be found upon truth's phosphoric sea. Means the art, the visuals, everything, the picturesque or whatever. What a way to say it. If these ruins can be identified with a nation of the ancient world, question. The first word is superfluous now. And for these discoveries have destroyed the opposite phrase, new world. That expression will belong hereafter to England and parts of Europe, not America. For the former date from the first Caesar, the latter, if we err not, from an older and a greater conqueror. If we say these ruins can be identified with a country of Asia and of the olden time, we shall have no regret for having turned shipwright to aid the discovery of that nation. And if our classic galley should fonder era we reach the point proposed, we shall at least struggle in the buoyant waves of hope and pleasure, and our light heart floating above the waters of disappointment. That means it will not be trivial. The truth is there. There's nothing to be disappointing, is what they're stating. And with the joyous pride will we hail those who in passing by have found and steered a truer track. That means no more liars. They know that they're dealing with a lot of them. That is the reason why they equipped themselves to write this, as this gentleman has chosen. First, will be given a description of such parts of the great ruins as many be necessary in the author's own words, with such commentaries as may be required by the narration, Then will follow Mr. Sefton's reflections upon all the ruins. His arguments will be met, his errors detected, and his contradictions investigated. And thereupon we shall endeavor, at least in brackets, to completely refute his deductions and conclusions. To refute, you know what that means: to dismiss, dispel, to bring into question, and to dismantle. That's how I see it. Hey, Sue, this book had my ass up. I was reading this book for about 2.5 hours. Just, whoo, God dog, man. God dog, man. That was a good fucking pick, baby girl. God dog. Anyway, Arthur Kessler, the 13th tribe. Remember now, he was suicide, him and his wife, on some concoctions of shit that they never used. Okay. When we last left off, we were at the Magyars, and then we went all the way through that and read down till we got to chapter 8. When we went through, the Khazars had their fingers in many historic pies. We see the earth, 7 continents, they had their hand everywhere, and they were establishing, because they were being chased down by the so-called Christians and Muslims. More than that, that's a whole bunch of bullshit. They were being chased down by the Tartarians because of the betraying role they played. I didn't want to have to say that, but I figured some of y'all would have already thought about that. The second episode seems to have had an even more profound influence on the Hungarian national character. At some unspecified date, Constantine tells us there was a rebellion, apostasia, of part of the Khazar nation against their rulers. The insurgents, here we go, consisted of 3 tribes, which were called Kabars, or Kabars, and which were of the Khazars' own race. The government prevailed, and we see that today. A lot of times they talk to you motherfuckers and tell you who you are, and you ignore them because you're stupid as fuck. And I can't blame them for getting tired, telling you dumb motherfuckers. Anyway, the insurgents consisted of 3 tribes, and I broke that down. The government prevailed. Some of the rebels were slaughtered, and some fled. Now, was one making mischief, or was one not? Well, I guess we'll see if they talk about that. Anywho, fled the country and settled with the Magyars, and they made friends with one another. They also taught the tongue of the Khazars to the Magyars, and up to this day, they speak the same dialect, but they also speak the other language of the Magyars. And because they proved themselves more efficient in wars and the most manly of the 8 tribes, i.e. the 7 original Magyar tribes, plus the Kabars, and leaders in war, they were elected to be the first horde, and there is one leader among them that is in brackets originally 3 hordes of the Kabars, who exist to this day, y'all. To do his eyes, or his, Constantine starts his next chapter with a list of the hordes of the Kabars and Magyars. First is that which broke off from the Khazars. This above-mentioned horde of the Kabars, etc. The horde or tribe which actually calls itself Magyar comes only 3rd. It looks as if the Magyars had received metaphorically and perhaps literally a blood transfusion from the Khazars. It affected them in several ways. First of all, we learned to our surprise that at least till the middle of the 10th century, both the Magyar and Khazar languages were spoken in Hungary. Several modern authorities have commented on this singular fact. Thus, Berry wrote, "The rest of this double tongue is the mixed character of the modern Hungarian language, which has supplied spacious arguments for the 2 opposite opinions as to the ethnical affinities of the Magyars." As Toynbee puts it, remarks that though the Hungarians have ceased to be bilingual long ago, they were so at the beginning of their state, as testified by some 200 loan words from the old Shofa dialect of Turkish, which the Khazars spoke. Isn't it funny how the Khazars were able to get them to speak their language? and forget their own, but the Khazars remember their original language. Same with the Turks. Because you need to know who the Ottoman war who went to conquer it. These motherfuckers. Who went to the Anu Islands. The Magyars, more looking motherfuckers. And them went to conquer the Anu Island. They made the land of Japan. Who do you think went and fought the last, I believe, Ming Dynasty? China didn't exist at that time. Still the sheep people. These motherfuckers. But what were they doing all this time? What have I been reading? They have been mixing with tribes and marrying and this, that, and stop murdering, took our identity. They had to get back over here. They were paying attention to everything. They inserted themselves. They started destroying many things. They put themselves and created the Vatican from a grand old Opry, the place that you saw destroyed, that was beautiful in Chicago, as well as St. Louis and San Francisco. So Vatican would be the only one still standing. When y'all gonna wake up? Y'all pay attention. I see motherfuckers that came, hit the like, thank you. Just hang around, god damn. Everybody come in here know like they know every goddamn thing. I'm so tired of these old bubblehead motherfuckers. Listen to this. The Magyars, like the Rus, also adopted a modified form of the Khazar double kingship. Thus, Gorezi, their leader, rides out with 20,000 horsemen, and they call him Kanda, Hungarian Kende. And this is the title of their greater king. But the title of the person who effectively rules them is Julu, or Jula. That ain't African fucking sounding. And the Magyars do whatever their Jula commands. There is reason to believe that the first Julas of Hungary were Kabars. Kabars and Kabars. Look that up. Look up Jula. And when I say Jula, I mean Jula, or with an S at the end. People, I'm going to read all the way to 9, and then we're going to get into the next one. It's just only a short paragraph. There is also some evidence to indicate that among the dissident Kabar tribes who de facto took over the leadership of the Magyar tribes. Did you hear that? There were Jews of adherents of a Judaizing religion. It seems quite possible as Artamanov, let me get the right words right, y'all, and Bartha have suggested that the Kabar apostasia was somehow connected with or a reaction against the religious reforms initiated by King Obadiah. Rabbinical law, strict dietary rules, Talmudic casuistry might have gone very much against the grain of these steppe warriors in shining armor. In shining armor, people. Steps. I told you to look into it. I know you motherfuckers didn't. Because you're hard-headed motherfuckers. That's what makes me want to stop. Because I know you motherfuckers don't research shit. Except for the ones who come here and don't say nothing. And you turn around an hour later, they're doing a fucking live. And it's like, nigga. But anyway. If they professed a Judaizing religion, it must have been closer to the faith of the ancient desert Hebrews than to rabbinical orthodoxy, which was their creation, nothing of origin. There's nothing real about that. That's their shit. Has nothing to do with Hebraicism, the life of who we are and who we were around the world and our importance, which they always mitigate to some lower fucking heap of bullshit. They may even have been followers of the fundamentalist sect of Karaites. And that's Karaites for those who don't know. Look that up as well. And hence considered heretics. But this is pure speculation. And this again to my brothers and sisters who know me, we've befriended each other. If you believe in some Jesus and the word God, how they utilize it, get the fuck up out of here. You don't have to talk to me no more. You don't have nothing. I don't give a fuck if we walk 100 miles together. I'm tired of lazy ass niggas who don't know no better. And I don't give a fuck, male or female. Fuck out of here. Take it personal too. I'm telling you, the games are done. It's over. And y'all not getting it. So I gotta be serious. Fuck up out my life. My internet life, I guess that's what we could say. Behold the pale horse, William Cooper. And I'm fucking dead ass serious. It's very serious. For those who don't know what serious fucking is, because some people don't really know what it means. Oh, yes. So we already covered the night. Namaste. We already covered the Knights of Malta. Myron Teller was President Roosevelt's envoy. Blah blah blah. We got all the way down there. Where we was at before, we covered over the center. Was set up by the Vatican as part of the Pope's new peace. We were at the last very bottom part here. So what I'm gonna do is, I just gave you a justice to each part that is read. Now I'm gonna read this part right here, and then we'll pick up. Okay. So remember where we was at yesterday. For those who were here. The Pope believes that only the Vatican knows what is right for man. Excuse me. Acquaint yourself anew with the teachings of Jesus. Compare his teachings with the tenets of the Illuminati, and then compare it with the following. The Vatican has stated at various times that the Pope is for total disarmament. The Pope is for elimination of the sovereignty of the nation states. And the Pope is also stating that property rights are not to be considered true property rights. The Pope believes that only the Vatican knows what is right for man. I made somebody run, y'all. Oh. Anyway, in the early 1940s, this is what happens when you're, I hate the word grandpa, probably great grandpa. This is what I'm talking about. Motherfuckers don't really get it. In the early 1940s, the IG Farb and Chemical Company employed a Polish salesman who sold cyanide to the Nazis for use in Auschwitz. The same salesman also worked as a chemist in the manufacture of the poison gas. This same cyanide gas, along with Zyklon B and malathion, was used to exterminate millions of Jews and other groups. Their bodies, more Spaniards than anything, people. But you got to remember who these individuals were. See, that's what they never tell you. Oh, a few thousand of the Jews were fucking killed. I'm tired of this bullshit history that they want to make everybody keep holding on to. Wasn't even that many fucking Jews in Germany, even though they're all the same people. When we started talking about the Khazars, the Kavars, the Kalarites, that's why I keep telling y'all to study these things and know the difference. Because these motherfuckers have been lying all the time. And that way the world will look at them and ignore who we are and our people who have been murdered. Valiant, real motherfucking warlords. Valiant khans and kings and queens and all the real motherfuckers. So they stay distracted with that fake ass crayon white shit. That death. That's not what y'all are. They were original black motherfuckers. Bleak one. And that's Proto-Germanic. Its origin and meaning. Shit came here in the 1700s and ran like wildfire. That's why I know a lot of you motherfuckers weren't here on no fucking goofy ass fake Mayflower and all other dumb bullshit. They have usurped and made fucking for Saturday fucking morning commercials and cartoons and bullshit. Yeah, man, I'm going easy right now. I'm going very fucking easy. Very easy. So anyway, as I was saying, the bodies were, remember, then burned to ashes in the ovens. After the war, the salesman, fearing for his life, joined the Catholic Church and was ordained a priest in 1946. One of his closest friends was Dr. Wolf Smunas, the mastermind behind the November 1978 to October 1979 and March 1980 to October 1981 experimental hepatitis B vaccine trials conducted by the Center for Disease Control in New York when there was no hepatitis fucking disease anywhere. They created the shit. You heard the fucking name, right? Anyway, American City B vaccine trials conducted by the Center of Disease Control in New York. San Francisco and 4 other American cities where dope was running crazy and war had just got through. It was a way to get rid of fucking vets and everybody else that loosed the plague of AIDS on the American people. The salesman was ordained Poland's youngest bishop in 1958. After a 30-day reign, his predecessor was assassinated, and our ex-cyanide gas salesman assumed the papacy as Pope John Paul II. That's what I meant to say with AIDS. I didn't want to blow it off the cover because I was reading it. Remember the Sabbath day to keep it holy. 6 days shalt thou labor and do all thy work. But the 7th day is the Sabbath of the Lord thy God. In it thou shalt not do any work, thou, nor thy son, nor thy daughter, thy manservant, nor thy maidservant, nor thy cattle, nor thy stranger, that is within thy gates. For in 6 days the Lord made heaven and earth, the sea, and all that in them is, and rested the seventh day. Wherefore the Lord blessed the Sabbath day and hallowed it. And that's as far as Exodus chapter 20, verse 8 through 11. And the so-called ESV, the King James, they're all fucking a little different. The seventh day, the Sabbath, as handed to Moses by God, is Saturday. The celebration of Sunday as the Sabbath is verification that the people recognize the Pope as superior to God. The only whole people who have not recognized the authority of the Pope are the Jewish people. And that is why the Vatican has not and will not recognize the state of Israel. The Vatican, this is from a pale skin, remember. Now, William Cooper was a smart motherfucker, but he was moving also on his fake identity, the status in his time and age. Very intelligent man. He said some fabulous, stole some fucking truths too. All right? But right here, the Vatican refuses even to call it Israel because they know it's not. Don't have to. They know that they're fake. They know because the popes and them are the same fucking people. Like, what's it so wrong, people? Again, I must remind you that what you believe makes not one bit of difference. The important thing to understand is that if they believe this, it is going to give you nightmares. The Pope has a lot of charisma, and in a one world system, you need a religious head for power. Khomeini proved that this Pope has enough following and charisma to make what he considered a great threat in this move. The Mantooth Report. Check out the Mantooth Report. You can download the PDF, all right? And then we'll get on some more and more, because then we start getting into the Pope John Paul II. We start getting into the war crimes and this, that, and the other. New York Times, best 1971. There's a lot of information. We'll get into that tomorrow because I just wanted to cover a few of those things. Now, this is something I want to ask y'all. Let's see if we put the story away. Because we're going to read them 4 books in a couple hours. We're going to try and read a little early today. I got to run back out to the post office. Revised edition with epilogue responding to the author's critics, not out of Africa. Now, the reason why I was thinking about this, because, you know, I'm going to read these 3. I'm waiting for the 2 other ones I ordered. There's 2 more. I told y'all they was going to come. Okay? So, hopefully I get those real soon. This right here is the navigator who crossed the ice walls, the worlds beyond the Antarctic, lost confound them, terra infinita, extraterrestrial worlds and their civilizations. The story told by the woman who was born in the lands behind the ice walls. All right? She was here in the 70s. The lands of Mars, she could still be alive, I don't know. The land of Mars, 178 worlds under the Great Dome. You know, I got a map. I actually had 2 more show up, so I've got 3 maps now. I got one that's really big. Now, I enjoy that stuff because it's not whether I believe it or not. It just co-signs other information that I have learned in my travels that at one time I would have never looked at. But because I don't have fucking Alzheimer, I'm not senile, I remember, I was like, holy shit, wait a minute. And then I remember saying, stop looking up and start looking out. And I was like, does that mean travel? Well, that meant a far travel to which I'm incapable of right now. Not speaking of what happened. Okay? So that right here, along with this, and then breaking Tartaria down with the 2 other books down there, not the Mud Flood one. I got like 3 different books with Mud Flood. But the other 2 that are Tartarian, it's another book that somebody just put together in the last 2 years. Pretty goddamn good. These little Pelicans are doing pretty good. I'm doing the screenwrite, so fuck all y'all. I could put together some shit like this. That means getting back out there traveling again. Nigga, I was one on the 80s arguing with people saying that's not a 1, that's an I. That's not a 1, that's a J. And showing everybody. And they were like, holy shit. And I'm like, yeah, man. God damn. They're like, I'm saying a lot of things is different, man. You gotta remember some wars and shit. And, you know, they always change shit. But you mean to tell me this motherfucker, yes, it's that old, man. And all my buddies was like, God damn, Red, how you? Oh, man, look, man, I used to be in middle school and elementary over in Nishuane, and I used to be drawing all the time. Miss Visco, my art teacher, and I had this talent. And one day I was asked, hey, you want to do some paintings? I said, can I paint on the wall? And they said, sure. What, you want to do hand paint? I was like, no, I want to draw and take it from inches to feet and put it on the wall. And they looking at me like, who the fuck is this little motherfucking runt? Miss Visco, sexy motherfucker, Sicilian. She says, Jimmy, if you can draw down what you believe the past look like. And so I didn't do dinosaurs and shit. I did giraffes and elephants. I never did dinosaurs. And I did like the Vietnam tall elephant grass and the bamboo trees. And you gotta remember, I think I was like 8, 7, fuck, I don't know. And then I did something that looked like the Jetsons, but it was medievally dark with things flying. But it was almost like it was a destruction scene without knowledge. But the buildings were from what I learned about Tartary. And then what I learned about Wakalana, where I grew up at. I can't even remember the goddamn word. Come on, Jimmy. Wakalana Plaza. I got to get the word back. There's so many things I'm studying. Lackawanna Plaza, excuse me. And they had an elevated train, all that shit, stores raised above ground. They tore that shit down so fast when I got up to high school. The shit just slowly disappeared from the days when we used to walk under it when I was a kid with my great-grandmama. My great-grandmama was in her 50s somethings or whatever when I was it's a little fucking thing. And my grandma was in her 30s or whatever, 20s, whatever the fuck, 30s, whatever the fuck. Because when she took us in, my grandmother was in her 40s. And my great-grandma was in about her 50s, 60s. And then 20-something years later, I went in the military. And, my grandmother was in her 90s and my grandma was in her 70s. And I went and, a couple years ago, grandma, moved on right not that long after my service started. My great-grandmother, while I was in the military in 96. They keep saying 94. I'm like, she was 96 years old. What the fuck? And grandma, 94. She could have lived longer if I would have stayed as chef. I was actually thinking about selling all my shit. Aunt Joe, I'm going to move in and take care of mama, do the physical therapy, get some good weed and everything. I had all these guns. I didn't care about. I could put those in and lock them up. You know what I'm saying? I'm good. I'd have been good. And I was almost ready to make that suggestion. It probably would have been for the best. But I didn't. I wanted to get as far away from fucking New Jersey, from liberals. Just to hear them geek and gawk and laugh and shit. I used to sit there and look at them and I knew everything was fake. And I was like, how can they be so fucking Sigmund Freud's fake? I used to say that. Sometimes I would say it out loud. How can y'all be some Freud-like? And they used to be like, is that a new saying? I was like, whatever, man. Y'all are Freud-like. Y'all really are Freud-like. So, anywho, because of all that and because of what I learned, the 12 drinks, that's always going to stay with me for the rest of my life. If anything I won't ever forget is that fucking night when I learned, like Manatee Hall, I learned so many secrets. And I haven't shared, I can't share none. Some of those I just can't share. You would say, well, Red, what? No, let me tell you something. I know some good guys, and they part of the craft. And I was asked to be respectful of that by this 90-year-old woman. I will never say her name out loud. And the gentleman didn't even look up and they just shook their head. And I said I would. But the niggas I grew up with who all in Masonic and shit, I have no respect for none of them fake motherfuckers. Them frauds. A lot of you niggas is in it. Y'all frauds too. Challenge me. Your made up shit. The perversions you do. Married to a woman in a Christian religion, knowing exactly what the fuck you do on the side. The drugs you use and every goddamn thing else. Y'all are frauds. Contemptual fucking frauds. Just like all the motherfuckers in the music industry and the Hollywood, all them mates, all them sick fucks. Handpicked to be deliberate in their actions. Frauds. Other than that, I'm going to read those books and I'm going to start reading them soon because I want to read. I don't give a fuck if I have a day where I'm just reading. And I mean, I'm reading like crazy right now. And y'all would sit there going, damn, that nigga read a lot. Yeah, whatever. And it's good because my brain's able to make a composition out of the things I read. I can't even explain how it grabs shit. And I'm like remembering the books and it puts together a fucking And then I go, okay, well, when I was in Bolivia, when I was in Chile, I remember they didn't want to let us in, and when we got in, and the people fell in love with the niggas. They just loved the fuck out of us. Oh man, listen here, man. Oh, but them pale skins, man, they was chasing them motherfuckers, beating them upside the head with rocks. That's the real world, y'all. Germany, the women was coming at us. Germany, them women was snatching our black asses out before you black motherfuckers, you know all that. They were running at us. And now those of us who were married, we were straight. Now our women, on the other hand, like when we stayed back home, motherfuckers, women was cheating the moment the niggas' boats got out halfway out the motherfucking from the dock. That's why I speak the way I do. I won't pull no punches on broke ass women when I know women are more powerful. And I won't give you no parlay. So for those of you married in your fucking fake ass religious marriages, you're wasting your time. You don't be around other sisters to grow and be nurtured, to be one and nurture one another truthfully without bumping coochies and goofy shit that make you weak and rob you of your domain. That's what the motherfuckers need. That's why they so happy, all you weak motherfuckers. I'm not surprised at the motherfuckers I went to school with, the women who are doing that. And they're the weakest looking fucking links I've ever seen in my life. I don't care about the love. It's not about hate and love. It's a fucking reality. You have a choice, though. People have choices. And they always make the right one, but at the wrong fucking time. Or at the wrong time and make the right choice. Anywho, so I gotta read these to you because when I'm reading shit, I'm all getting giddy, like, oh shit, and I'm marking a lot of my books I don't want to fucking mark. It might benefit somebody else. So whenever you see me with the little marks and stuff, because this shit that grabs me, that when one of these little dumb motherfucking natives are talking out of pocket, and one of these little half Spanish motherfuckers, these little Chino, whatever the fuck, speaking out of pocket, and I say, hold on, bro. If you're gonna be that disrespectful, I don't give a fuck about where you've been locked up, what you've been through, or who died in your family, I don't give a fuck. But you ain't gonna come on our soil with your bullshit, because the liar, the enemy of all of us, put you in a place to supplicate. Bitch, y'all can't even supplicate because you're not righteous. You don't walk righteous, you're not upright righteous, nothing righteous about you. You just want to imitate what you can never be. Now, our people, the pains that they're suffering, the fight and the turmoil they have is because they have no focus and direction. And that's why the CIA and the FBI is worried, because the moment these motherfuckers have focus and direction, they be out of a fucking job. They'll be running and hiding again, trying to manipulate, and don't give a fuck about weapons and none of that, giants and none of that. Trust me. These little niggas find out who they really are and they stop being niggas. These little black motherfuckers stop listening to these worthless dead black motherfuckers and realize it's not about being African or nothing, but it's being melanated and true to the earth. And then they'll snap the fuck about their goddamn coins. And all you slothful ass teachers and you poly fucking police and all you other motherfuckers that just need to be in the mix. The mix is coming. The mix is coming. Stop rushing it. Some of you won't be here, but the rest of you, you'll be trying to find the goddamn best way to get rid of what the fuck you've been seeking. And then you won't be able to die. That's the beautiful part. And all you fake ass judges, knowing goddamn well you're a magistrate for what? Something foreign. And you want a lot of these people, their trust and everything else. See, I don't give a fuck about all that. But these are people out here who actually do. And I'm not here to be indifferent. I'm here to talk to you motherfuckers that are scared, but you come here and you watch. You watch. We gotta get people on him. Your best thing is to let me the fuck be. And I'm not asking that because I've asked already enough. But you're too stupid. I always be around my people, and when I get the right numbers and the people that are required, and good fucking women, not all women bad, most women, majority of women are good, but we all have innate qualities that kind of on the bad side. And we don't want to do nothing to better that shit. But you're gonna have to. I appreciate y'all taking the time to listen to me banter and listen to my read. I hope it was enjoyable. And you can still fucking donate, people. I'm not gonna stop buying books. Hold up. God damn it, I just saw something pop down on the screen. Hold on. I gotta turn my damn tablets up. They died this morning, y'all. I was reading a PDF on there. Let me turn it on and see what this. Because if it's a good word, man, I gotta throw my shoes on and run out. Yeah, I'm sitting up, y'all. I got a little more. I'm gonna show y'all, man. Nah, you know I ain't got no secrets. So right here, I got this old Mike Tyson jamming. Well, it's Mike Tyson weed. One puff, Rondo. One, this no two, no three, no four, no five. Yeah, man. And then, yeah, I only wrote three. But this motherfucker right here. Now this right here, this got THC. So I'm gonna have to go out and do what I gotta do. Come back, put in an old John Wayne or Clint Eastwood or fuck Mad Max Beyond Thunderdome with old him, she, fucking Tina Turner, whatever the fuck. And blaze away. It was my fault. I hit that three. Man, you hit that motherfucker 5 times, cuz. And I was looking. I was like, and I was like, he gonna be out. You was hit, boy. I told you that's that toy. That's this right here, man. Oh yeah, I'm gonna have to get another one of these, man. They said, oh, we're gonna have them all the time now. I said, I'm coming to pick up 2. I'll probably wait. It's fucking, I don't know. All right, so I have 2 of these, right? This is the one that you smoke from. Mine's over there. One that I took a puff, this one puff, and I was like, I was in the chair like this. I can't read right now. I'm gonna have to change the time. And I told you it's up to 2 puffs, mother. Your ass was this. Because it's good. It's good. It smells like it's great. It's like a gum. It's watermelon. So it's infused. And let me let y'all see what it looks like. Absolutely beautiful. Look at that. So I've got a total of 8 3/4. 8 3/4. Don't pick up 2 more. It's 5 in a thing. They're about $50 damn near. It's like $10 a joint almost. No, it's that. Tell them, is it that powerful, brother? This shit right here, I'm going to get a few more ounces of this shit from them. So I'll actually hit homeboy up, Chad. I'm going to get. This stuff is so clean. They're probably using their own pee and poop to fucking and animal, you know, the goats and all that, which is the best poop fertilizer in the world. And I need some more. I don't want no pre-rolls. I got 2 pre-rolls down there. I'm not gonna settle those. That's Casper OG and Snoop OG. Now this one right here, this Tahoe OG, this right here, when I got this, I picked up, and I took this with me. The THC is 16.25. The CBD is at 0.009. So it's not that much CBD. This is strictly flower. For the what you call the cannabinoid, the THC. This right here was 4 grams. So I'm gonna go back and get about 8 grams. And it's really good. I would like to share that with y'all. This right here, I only got 2 grams of this because I never had this. No, I'm lying. I have purple punch all throughout the fucking house. Purple punch in the drawer. So I just picked up 2 more grams to add to everything, and I haven't even added it all together. So, you know, it's probably about an ounce or so. But this is the stuff that I enjoy smoking. And then I also had my boy send me some more regular this right here is what I roll in with my weed. This is real tobacco, people. Real tobacco. My boy in Jamaica grows it. And when he comes to the States, he grows it on his roof in Miami. Oh, he's rich. Yeah. And this is real, no chemicals, no spray, Reynolds, RJ Reynolds and all these dasty ass fake 13 Tribe Zionist fucks. No chemicals. And I take that, roll my shit up. So magic. Now I do have a lot of CBD weed too. They come in little glass jars. It's just strictly CBD. And when I'm really sore and stuff, I'll puff on one of them bitches. And y'all be like, that nigga getting high. Sure. I would have to smoke 100 of them motherfuckers to get high. So now I keep my nuts close by whenever I puff. Let me see what it said. Oh, this message said that South for make sure UPS FedEx. What? Okay. What? Gotta go, y'all. Love y'all. Gotta go.